Gwen Elliot calls herself a mediapreneur. She's the creator and host of Start Something Big, a media brand dedicated to help entrepreneurs become profitable by creating opportunities through local media. But that's just the beginning. She's also a producer of The Naked Entrepreneur that will air on OWN Canada this year. That's Oprah's network. And Gwen now also works in marketing for an e-commerce company in Toronto. She has been featured in Forbes, on Rogers TV, and the Huffington Post. She's basically a hero. She wrote that part of the script herself, by the way. I'm Mike Valente. This is Valente'S Variety, and here's my time with Gwen Elliot. You're a mediapreneur, is that correct?
Yes.
And now, is that the only word you've made up?
No, another word I've recently made up is the word friendtor.
Friendtor?
Yes.
Okay.
My friendtor, David Siteman Garland, he created it. And what it means to me is somebody who merges a career with media, marketing, and entrepreneurship. And friendtor, friend mentor, jam it together.
It's almost got a robotic feel to it.
Are you calling me a robot?
You got out of TV. You said, I'm done. I hate the thing. What are you doing now?
Let me explain.
Absolutely.
So,
I feel like this is the forum to do so.
Thank God I was looking for the right place to explain. I'm glad I found it here.
Right.
I was noticing, I've worked in TV for the last 8 years.
Now, what was that you just did with your mouth?
It's a thing I do when I can't find the words. If you can look at the person who's steering the ship, leading the whole team, and you say to yourself, I don't want that job, you're probably in the wrong field. I don't want to be an executive producer of a TV show. That's not something that I realize actually appeals to me. So I started on this quiet quest to try and find something else that I wanted to do and got into the tech world.
Certain people have a sole focus and they go after that dream, and that's fantastic. But I guess my focus is, I know I want to be in broadcasting, I know I want to be in media, but what I'm doing in that field, I have no idea where I'm going to end up, right? I've been very privileged to work for a very popular show in this country, Hockey Night in Canada, and I've been there for 5 years now, and it's fantastic. Every day I walk into work, I look up at the CN Tower, and I say, I'm living in the biggest city in this country, and I'm working for the biggest show in this country. And I'm very grateful for that. I know a lot of people would want to be in my spot, and I think about that every day. I think I could grow and grow there, possibly spend my entire career there, but do I want that? You don't want to become comfortable, right? And just stay there because it's good. You want to challenge yourself.
I also think there's so much value in creating something yourself. Whether it's a blog, a YouTube channel, a podcast, there's so much joy in saying, I had this idea and I created it.
And I've always said this, but you are just like Oprah. You are a strong, independent Black woman who inspires us all. We're constantly comparing ourselves to other people, and that can be such an anxiety in itself. Think about how much time you can waste just by, oh, well, he's doing that, well, she's doing that, I'm not as good as that. Let's give up.
Well, I've never done that, so I'm not sure what that would be like. I honestly, I deleted Instagram for a long time because I was just, I wasn't going on it for any productive reason other than to see what other people were doing. And it was you go down the rabbit hole, and that stops you from actually creating anything because you're like, oh, other people's, theirs is better, mine's terrible. So I admire you for starting this.
Oh, thanks.
Valente'S Variety.
That's true. Ask for it by name. No, it's such a weird balance you have to find because doing things like this, you have to promote it. You need to be on social media or else no one will see it. As you just said, going on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter sometimes can make you feel awful because you're comparing yourself to these people, and it really limits your productivity. But at the same time, you, in this industry at least, TV, media, e-commerce even, you need to promote your products, you need to promote yourself. So it's finding that balance that's really interesting.
if you want something to be successful, it has to be for you first and the people.
Right.
Like, you couldn't just create this because you're like, oh, I want to interview Gwen and have her share her story. It's like, no, you have to be having a good time, and then, you know, bring someone on
Right.
to like share their story as well.
No, you're right. This is mainly for me. I really like this one girl, and she kind of we met very randomly. She doesn't work with me; she works close to me, and I would meet her when I would go get a coffee or a smoothie or something. And it was so funny because she was so friendly, and I didn't know if we were flirting or not. But I'm very friendly too, which can be mistaken as flirting. Although I do flirt a lot. Just look at me. But I didn't know what was exactly happening. All I knew was I'm like, wow, this girl is a catch. So we kept talking, and I purposely, and this is going to sound very strange, but I purposely knew when she'd be working, and I'd make sure I was in that spot. I was essentially stalking her. And this
said it, not me.
That's right. Those are my words. Don't sue me. But this went on for like a little bit of time, but it was always like, oh, hey, how's it going? Funny meeting you here. You know, one of those things. And then I always thought that she had a boyfriend. I'm like, whatever, we're just random friends who see each other randomly, even though it was pretty calculated on my part. But after a while, I'm like, you know what, there might be something here, but whatever. I liked the fact that I was kind of exploring. It was like a detective. And then she finally came out and said, we should go out. And I said, when you find out that the girl you're essentially stalking is actually into you, that's a huge turnoff. When you were dating,
Yes.
are you like me? When, like, I find it fascinating, but I have a lot of fun with it. Like, in no point in time does it discourage me. Like, I find it interesting because I can go on a date, and if I know that this is not going to be anything, I can kind of turn that side of my brain off and just have fun with it. I treat it like an interview. Did you have fun dating? Was it fun for you, or was it, when something didn't work out, was it like, oh, this is a waste of time, I should be doing something else?
That's like a really good question.
Yeah, that's why they're not paying me for this.
I feel like I'm not gonna date someone just to try it out.
Right.
Like, if I'm gonna go out with somebody, it's because I really, like, I know them, I like them, I don't have time. I sound like women everywhere right now.
Yeah.
I don't have time to just like go out with people.
There needs to be a certain level of them impressing you first.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great.
As a woman nowadays, we, you know, for so many years, we were trying to be like, we're independent, we're women, yeah. And I realized I can technically like do everything myself. Like, say like back in the 50s, like I needed a man
Right.
to like, you know,
Yes.
make money and stuff. But I unfortunately and fortunately can do everything myself. So where does a guy fit in if you can like do everything yourself? I'm saying this actually seriously on behalf of women everywhere. Like, we and men want to be needed. They want to be able to help.
Yeah.
And I realized, I'm like, oh my God, I've been being so self-sufficient for so long. What can a guy like help me with? You know what I mean? Like, and I actually was like making a list of like different ways that a guy could help me, because I'm like, I know that sounds
It's like a pros and cons list.
Like,
Do I really need a male partner?
right, and that sounds like a little bit crazy.
If you had a book,
Yes,
what would the name of it be?
start something big.
That's
a
right.
good question.
Now I have a question for you, and this
Yes.
might be a little offside, but technically every time you become romantic with your boyfriend, don't you technically start something big?
What? Wow.
I mean, if you're lucky.
Oh my God. Okay.
Do you want to get married? Not you and I, but do you want to get married one day?
Where's the ring? The concept of spending thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars isn't really appealing to me. You know, like, I prefer to invest that money in like business or traveling or an
Right.
experience, like a nice dinner out.
Right. You want to be with someone possibly for the rest of your life, but not necessarily make it official. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm definitely somebody who I would love to have kids one day.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to like. I mean, I feel like you want to have kids, right? But then the idea of like literally thinking about it, like imagine if I had a child right
It's
now.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like a lot of my friends from back home, they're all getting married now. And they're gonna have kids eventually, right? Like probably in the next few years. I emceed one of my best friend's wedding probably a few months ago. And one of my lines, because everyone's getting married now. I said, one of my lines, I was the MC, in the speech I said, it's the fall of 2014. So many of my friends are getting engaged and getting married, and some of them having babies. And me, the other night, I came home drunk and ate a sandwich while on the toilet. So that's where I am, I said. Right on track.
He made everyone feel good about this.
And that was slightly exaggerated, but it's true. Like you see everyone's getting married now.
It wasn't a sandwich, it was actually a bowl of pasta.
Yeah.
Mess.
It's such an interesting dynamic because it doesn't even have anything to do with the fact that I'm single right now. I don't think, even if I was in a relationship, I'd be anywhere close to wanting to get married. Do you think that has anything to do with the industry we're in?
Right, yes.
I think it does.
All the women that are in like a powerful position in the media, like 80% of the ones I encountered were single. And I was like, I don't want to be single at that age. If it happens, it's fine, but it's not like a current ambition, you know, to like forego all relationship things in order to be at the top of the media world. Like, I mean, if it goes that way, it goes that way, but I don't like want that.
If I had the choice between hanging out with a group of guys and a group of girls would win every time.
That's not surprising. What do you have against men? What did we do to you? We had a conversation probably a year and a half ago, and it was at a Shoals Media Group event.
Shout out!
Yeah. We talked for like half an hour. It was really nice, much like we're doing here today. And I said, you said you have no guy friends. Yes. And I said, well, why wouldn't you start with me? Yes. And I feel like we've done that.
Oh my God. This is still true. I actually was saying this the other day. Like, well, to me, I guess if like you're a guy friend, like you'd hang out for no reason. I always really feel like I need a reason to do anything. You know what I mean? Like, so it's nothing against guys, really. It's just like, I don't know, women are more complex creatures, and I like a challenge.
When you said that you didn't have many guy friends, that surprised me. Because I feel like you're kind of a guy's girl.
I'm like man-friendly?
Man-friendly? What do you mean by that?
I don't even know.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. You're the type of girl that is very laid back and will smoke a cigar.
Thank you.
But is that true?
Yeah, it's 100% true.
But I feel men appreciate you, and they should.
Thank you.
Because you are an inspiration. Seriously. Since you've started at Ryerson, look at how many people you've inspired.
At least 3.
At least 3. I knew it was on one hand. I was at a party with a girl, and the crowd was very different than what I would consider myself to be. We were in a conversation. There was 4 of us in a conversation at a table. It turned into a type of conversation where I'm like, wow, I really don't fit in here, and I'll tell you why. One of the girls at the table bursts out laughing, okay? She's like, oh my God, that reminds me of the first time I did cocaine. And I said, I don't belong here. And then I noticed that the conversation started to turn into drugs. I've never done a drug in my life. I never will. Look at me. I'm a white boy who has food allergies. It's not, I don't fit in, right? And I noticed that during this conversation, they were talking about drugs and that scene, and how people who don't, oh, they're such squares. They were talking about their brother who didn't do drugs. Oh, he's such a square. I'm like, yeah, he's such a square. I can't even believe that guy. He doesn't live. Because these people that I was hanging out with, I should clarify, were like professional people. They were really well put together, but it's like a whole side scene.
Yeah.
It was just interesting to hear about it. Nothing I would ever entertain, but it was entertaining to hear their point of view.
So there's this quote that I really love, and it's by this great motivational speaker named Jim Rohn. And his quote is that you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I heard that, I think, when I was in grade 8 or something.
Oh, really? That far back?
Way far back, but never really implemented that advice until like I got much older and wiser. But this is really important because if you want to make any change in your life, take a look at the people you're surrounding yourself with. I don't mean this in a negative way, like drop all your friends. I'm just saying, think about it. Whoever you're hanging out with, the 5 people the most, you're probably going to the same kind of events, drinking the same kind of drinks, eating the same kind of food, dressing the same. So you have to be very conscious of who you're hanging out with, because that's going to make a huge impact on your life.
It's such a pleasure to have you here for the first episode, because you're just an inspiration. I honestly believe that. You've inspired a lot of people, you do amazing work, and you have your fingerprints in every little part of our world. And I like that. And Oprah herself has noticed.
I'm just really happy for you, and
Nice.
like when Oprah gets wind of this show and it goes there, I'll just know that it was because of me. So.
You know what's funny? Whenever I'm walking downtown, if there is a car honking like a cat, I always say, "Thank you so much. Please, no photos."
Oh my God. What?
Because have you noticed cats actually honk at you now if you want a
Oh
cat?
yeah, 100%.
Like, we're not smart enough to know, hey, we have to flag it down. Now they have to remind us.
No.
Does that make any sense to you?
No, and as a lady, if I'm carrying one bag, they're like, oh my God, she couldn't possibly walk it.
Right? You could not survive that.
No.
I'm surprised they don't carry you in.
That's happened once.
Really? After a few drinks?
No, Michael, I don't drink. I just called you Michael, I apologize.
That's okay, I like that.
Mike.
Being called Michael makes me feel quite sophisticated and also makes me feel like I've been a bad boy. So it's totally up to you. Call me whatever you want.